Let's talk agile. You know that word. It's everywhere. But do you ever get like a little knot in your stomach when you hear it? Like maybe you want to roll your eyes a little?
Oh, yeah?
I think a lot of people feel that way. And if you do, well, stick around.
You're definitely not alone.
Today, we're diving into something pretty controversial. The idea that Agile is dead.
Ooh, strong statement.
Yeah, but 30 years ago, Agile was this shiny new thing. Everyone was excited about it.
It's true. Agile had so much potential back then.
But have you ever worked somewhere that was all about Agile? On the surface, they had all the ceremonies, the stand-ups, the sprints.
The jargon.
But underneath it all, it felt like, well, micromanagement and bureaucracy.
Like they were just going through the motions.
Exactly. And that disconnect, that's what we're exploring today. How did Agile go from this revolutionary idea to, for some, a source of frustration? We've got a ton of articles, expert opinions, even some heated online debates to help us figure this out.
You're going to unpack all of it.
So rewind the clock with me. Think back to the early 90s. Software development. What was the world like? What led to Agile in the first place?
Well, things were changing fast. Businesses were struggling to keep up with the market. Imagine, right? You spend a year planning a software project, pour all this money into it, and suddenly the market takes a huge turn. You're stuck with something nobody wants.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Agile was partly a response to that. Companies needed a way to be flexible, to adapt without going bankrupt.
Makes sense.
And on top of that, software projects were notoriously bad at, well, finishing on time and within budget.
Ah, the good old days. When a project being 2 years late was considered normal.
It was a mess. Those traditional waterfall methods, they just weren't cutting it.
Waterfall. You mean where you plan everything in excruciating detail up front and then spend months, even years building something without ever really checking if it was still what people wanted?
Yeah. And then you finally reveal it and surprise, nobody's excited.
Agile was supposed to be the antidote, right? Fail fast, adjust quickly, built-in reality checks.
Right. That's where the Agile Manifesto comes in.
Yeah.
This wasn't just about new processes. It was a whole new philosophy.
It was written by a bunch of, big names in software, real thought leaders.
And they laid out 4 core values, 12 principles. They stressed the human element, people over rigid processes, working software over endless documentation.
Customer collaboration, not just contracts.
Exactly. And most importantly, being able to respond to change, not blindly following a plan no matter what.
So far, so good, right? Prioritize people, deliver working software early and often, involve the customer, be flexible. What could go wrong?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because the Agile that a lot of us are experiencing, it doesn't quite live up to that ideal.
Sometimes it feels like the opposite.
Here's where this concept of Agile signaling comes in. You know, when companies are all like, we're Agile, we do stand-ups, we have sprints.
But they haven't really changed their mindset.
Yeah. They've got the looks down, but not the substance. It's like, imagine putting on a full rock climbing outfit and then just walking to the mailbox.
Huh. All the gear, none of the adventure.
Exactly. And the problem is, this kind of fake Agile has become so common that the word itself has lost its meaning. People feel tricked, like they were promised this amazing collaborative way of working, and they got this.
It's almost like being gaslit, as some people have said, like, am I crazy? I thought this was supposed to be different.
And the frustration is growing. Our sources show a clear drop in satisfaction with Agile in recent years. Articles are popping up everywhere saying, Agile is dead. Even big Agile conferences are getting smaller.
And there's been some high-profile layoffs of Agile coaches and Scrum Masters.
It seems like people are losing face.
Yeah.
The feeling is that Agile has become too bureaucratic, too focused on the rituals, and not enough on the results.
So many meetings. So many Jira tickets.
All that busy work, but is it actually making things better? Is it delivering value to customers?
That's the question. And even some of the people who created the Agile Manifesto are speaking out. One of them coined the term Agile Industrial Complex.
Not exactly a compliment, right?
Yeah, not really. They're saying that Agile has become this huge industry. Consultants, frameworks, certifications, it's all become too complicated. And ironically, it's ended up being just as rigid and process-heavy as the waterfall methods it was supposed to replace.
It's kind of funny in a dark way. The cure becoming the disease.
Okay, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows. But to be fair, not everyone thinks Agile is totally dead. Some of our sources point out that the core principles are still relevant. Collaboration, incremental development, focusing on quality. Those are all good things.
And you could argue that the fact that so many companies are trying to be Agile, even if they're not doing it perfectly, is a sign of success. The ideas have spread, even if the execution is sometimes flawed.
So Agile isn't dead, it's just complicated.
Exactly. It's evolved, for better or worse. But let's dig into why so many Agile transformations fail. Our sources talk about something called transformation fatigue.
Transformation fatigue.
Yeah, it's like when you've been through so many changes, so many new and improved processes, that you're just exhausted. And one big reason for this is that a lot of companies try to implement Agile without a clear objective.
They don't really know why they're doing it.
Right. The teams are told, we're going Agile, but they don't understand what that means or what the goal is.
So it becomes change for the sake of change. No wonder people get tired.
And often it becomes more about implementing a specific framework, Scrum, SAFe, whatever, than about achieving actual results. Like, we're doing Scrum, so we must be Agile.
Even if Scrum doesn't make sense for their team or their work.
Exactly. It's like, imagine a consultant coming in saying, you need to wear these shoes, they're the best.
And the shoes are 3 sizes too small.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like when a company tries to source a framework onto a team that doesn't fit.
And it creates so much resistance. The teams are thinking, we just want to do our work. These new rules are making it harder.
Right. And then there's the whole Agile certification craze. Have you noticed that?
Wow.
It seems like everyone's a certified Scrum Master these days.
It's like a badge of honor. But does it actually mean anything?
That's what a lot of people are asking. You can get certified after a 2-day course. It doesn't guarantee that you actually know how to lead a team or implement Agile effectively.
Someone in one of our sources compared it to getting a certificate for attending a lecture on riding a bike. You haven't actually learned to ride.
And some of these coaches, they might be great at facilitating meetings, but they don't have the technical background to understand the challenges the teams are facing. So the transformations fail, and everyone gets disillusioned.
And then there's the Agile dogma, like certain rules you can't break.
Oh, yeah. Like the idea that teams have to be co-located, even if that's not practical anymore.
Thou shalt have a daily stand-up no matter what.
It can get pretty ridiculous. And the focus on velocity, just churning out work as fast as possible, often leads to burnout. Are the teams actually delivering value?
And where does middle management fit into all of this?
That's a good question. They often feel left out. Agile emphasizes self-organizing teams, which can leave managers feeling like they don't have a role anymore.
So we've got confused objectives, a focus on process over results, rigid frameworks, questionable certifications.
Dogma, burnout. It's a recipe for disaster.
No wonder so many Agile transformations fail. Our sources had some pretty funny anecdotes about this too.
Oh, yeah. Like, imagine Agile signaling as a comedy skit.
Mhm.
You've got all this fancy Agile equipment, but the actual value being delivered is completely lost in the chaos.
Or picture a consultant coming in and recommending a full-blown appendectomy when all the patient needs is a Band-Aid.
Huh. And then there's the image of a team doing their daily stand-up while doing planks. Like, the rituals have become more important than the purpose.
And the idea of a certified Scrum developer, I
Yeah.
mean, come on, it's like getting certified in breathing.
And one of the best ones,
Ah.
comparing SAFe diagrams to those ridiculously complex processes that look impressive but don't actually achieve anything.
It's all so true. Okay, so maybe Agile as we know it is in trouble, but what comes next? Are there any alternatives?
Well, one thing we're seeing is a shift towards organizational agility. It's not just about the development team anymore. It's about the whole company being able to adapt and respond to change.
So everyone's Agile.
In a way, yeah. It's about aligning strategy, execution, and outcomes across the entire organization. And success is measured by results, not just by following a process.
It's about being truly adaptable, not just doing Agile.
Exactly. And some companies are doing this really well. Tesla, SpaceX, Lego.
They're all super Agile, but they don't necessarily follow a specific Agile framework.
Right. They've internalized the principles so well that the label doesn't even matter anymore. In fact, some people are saying that the Agile brand is so damaged that we need a whole new term.
Out with the old, in with the new.
Maybe. Or maybe Agile will just become so commonplace that it becomes invisible. Like, it's just how everyone works. We don't need a special word for it.
And there's a lot of talk about reimagining Agile, going back to the roots, focusing on the mindset, not just the rituals.
And new technologies like AI and advanced analytics could help. They can automate some of the more tedious tasks, which frees up teams to focus on the human stuff. Problem solving, collaboration, creativity.
So Agile might be dying, but agility itself is more important than ever.
Exactly. And that brings us back to our big question. Is Agile dead?
It's a tough one. I think the answer is maybe.
Agile with a capital A, the way it's often practiced today, might be on its way out. But the need for organizations to be flexible, to respond to change, to deliver value.
That need isn't going anywhere.
So here's something for you to think about, dear listener. In this world of AI and constant disruption, what does real agility look like for you, for your team, for your organization? Forget the labels, forget the frameworks. What are the core principles that matter? How can you apply those principles to be successful in this crazy, ever-changing world?
That's what we should all be focusing on. The principles, not the buzzwords.
Exactly. Because ultimately, it's not about doing agile, it's about being agile.
And that's a journey that never really ends.